The 7-time Tour de France winner and Live Strong Foundation starter, Lance Armstrong, faces new accusations tonight that could possibly cost the former cyclist all of his biggest titles. The United States Anti-Doping Agency accuses Lance Armstrong and 5 former associates of a massive doping conspiracy. The U.S. ADA, as it's called, is described as a quasi-government agency that oversees anti-doping in Olympic sports. It does not have the authority to bring criminal charges, but it can implement other kinds of punishment. Now, according to the agency, multiple riders with first-hand knowledge will testify that Lance Armstrong used the synthetic drug EPO, blood transfusions, testosterone, and other substances from 1998 to 2005. The agency also accuses Armstrong of giving the drugs to other cyclists. Earlier this year, the feds closed a nearly 2-year investigation into doping allegations against Armstrong and brought no criminal charges. Lance Armstrong called the new allegations a witch hunt on Twitter. He also released a statement on his website and said, "I have never doped, and unlike many of my accusers, I have competed as an endurance athlete for 25 years with no spike in performance, passed more than 500 tests, and never failed one." That part we can confirm. Trace Gallagher with the news. Aside from witnesses, what other evidence does this agency have?
Well, the anti-doping agency says it collected blood samples from Lance Armstrong, Shep, in 2009 and in 2010, and those samples are, and I'm quoting here, fully consistent with blood manipulation. So what they're alleging is that Armstrong injected hormones into his blood to increase his red blood cell count, which allows the blood to carry more oxygen. And if you're an endurance athlete, that is a huge advantage. Now, like you said, this cannot land him in jail, but it can certainly hurt his reputation. Listen.
If they take those titles away, if they basically say all of that good stuff that Lance Armstrong did over these years, he did it by cheating, it really takes away the validity of what he's done. And I really think that you'd probably be seeing some of those people taking those Live Strong bracelets off.
But Lance Armstrong wonders why, if other cyclists have admitted to doping, why they also were not charged by this agency. And the answer, we do not have, Shep.
Of course, the criminal investigation is over, so no actual criminal charge is possible, or no?
Well, it's possible, but it's unlikely, and here's why. The U.S. attorney in Los Angeles spent 2 years investigating this, including hearing some very incriminating testimony from several of Lance Armstrong's former teammates. But not only did they close the investigation, there was no explanation ever given to why they closed the investigation. So now to reopen it, experts say they would need a very good reason. Listen.
The fact that the government closed its case on Armstrong would require a pretty high burden for them to reopen it. Now, there's no legal burden. They could do it tomorrow morning if they wanted to. It's not as if they're precluded. But I think given choice of resources, given that he's already gone through this, I would think the new evidence would have to be pretty substantial.
Because of the anti-doping agency's allegations, Lance Armstrong is no longer allowed to compete in triathlons, which he's been doing since 2011. He was supposed to compete in one the end of June in France. Shep.
Trace Gallagher live for us tonight. Trace, thanks. Well, the disaster